The way I start my day completely determines how my life unfolds. And today, I want to share with you 5 simple but incredibly powerful morning routines that have deeply transformed my life, and that have also been transforming the lives of thousands of students who walk this journey with me. And I'm certain about one thing: if you truly commit to practicing them, these routines can transform your life as well. You'll begin to notice changes happening day after day. Changes in your emotions, in the way you react to situations, in the people who start appearing along your path, and in the opportunities that begin to show up in your life. The results are truly surprising. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, because I want you to write everything down carefully. This morning routine can literally change the direction of your destiny. Yes, destiny. Because when you decide to change the way you start your day, you're making a very serious commitment to yourself. The commitment to transform your own life. So let's begin. The first thing I do every morning is wake up with intention. Most people wake up completely on autopilot. They immediately grab their phones, start thinking about their problems, complain about life, remember everything they have to deal with during the day, and without even realizing it, they begin the entire day vibrating with worry, anxiety, and struggle. And do you know what happens? They end up creating exactly what they were thinking about: more difficulties, more problems, and more emotional weight. But I chose to do things differently. I chose to take control of my life within the very first minutes of my day. As soon as I wake up, I take a deep breath, and I make a powerful declaration to myself. I say, I am a channel for miracles, and today, the very best comes to me. I am a channel for miracles, and today, the very best comes to me. It may sound simple, but this affirmation completely changes my inner state. It shifts my frequency. And when my frequency shifts, I begin to function like a true radar for incredible events, like a magnet that attracts people, opportunities, and situations that help me grow and prosper. That's the first practice. The second routine that is part of my mornings is something I call programmed water. Before drinking coffee, before eating anything, I take a glass of water and hold it between my hands for a few moments. Then I speak to the water. This water gives me vitality, health, and aligns me with prosperity. After that, I drink the water slowly, with presence and awareness, feeling each sip entering my body, because water has an incredible ability to absorb energy, intention, and frequency. There's a very interesting study conducted by the Japanese researcher Masaru Emoto that showed exactly this. He exposed water to different types of stimuli: words of love, gratitude, and gentle positive music. And what happened was remarkable. The water molecules began forming extremely beautiful and harmonious crystals. But when the water was exposed to negative words, criticism, or low vibration music, the molecules became disorganized, distorted, and chaotic. In other words, water responds to the frequency of words and intentions. And do you know what makes this even more interesting? Our bodies are made up of approximately 70% water. So when you drink water that has been programmed with positive intentions, you are literally programming your own body with that frequency. And that begins to transform your energy, your emotions, and consequently the reality you create around you. The third routine I practice every morning is writing the reality I want to live. I really enjoy doing this in my gratitude journal, but it can be in a planner or any notebook you have. What matters is writing 3 simple, short, and clear sentences describing the life you want to live, as if it were already real right now. For example, I might write something like this: I am a prosperous and abundant woman. I live in the home of my dreams. I am surrounded by peace, love, and wonderful opportunities. Do you see? I don't write in the future. I write in the present, feeling as if it is already part of my reality. Because when you write with emotion and conviction, you begin to align your mind, your energy, and your decisions with the life you want to experience. And little by little, reality begins to reorganize itself to match what you are creating within yourself. The fourth routine that is part of my mornings is something that has become absolutely sacred in my life: Ho'oponopono. I simply do not get out of bed without doing this practice. If you have a 108 bead mala, even better, because it really helps with focus and repetition. But if you don't have one, you can still do the practice simply by repeating the words with presence and intention. This practice has a very deep purpose: to cleanse the subconscious mind, because it is exactly in the subconscious mind that the memories, beliefs, and emotional patterns are stored, the ones that end up creating the reality we live. From there arise many of the feelings we experience, many of the decisions we make, and many of the behaviors we repeat without even realizing it. Sometimes you think the problem is outside of you, but in truth, there is an internal record creating that experience. When fear is stored in the mind, life begins to create situations of fear. When scarcity is stored in the mind, life begins to reflect scarcity. But when you begin to clear those memories, something very powerful happens. Your reality begins to change. And that's why this practice is so transformative. This is how I do it. I start by repeating the phrases using my own name. For For example, if your name were Mariana, you could say, "Blessed Mariana, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." And then you repeat again, "Blessed Mariana, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." If you prefer, you can even use a loving nickname, something like, "Blessed Marie, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." The important thing is to repeat it 108 times, every single day. And I can guarantee you one thing. When you start doing this with sincerity, you will begin to notice changes happening. Doors begin to open. Situations that once felt stuck begin to flow. Your emotions begin to transform. And little by little, your life starts to move into a new alignment. Because when you clear what is inside of you, the reality around you also begins to change. That's why this practice is so important to me. It's part of my life every single day. Now let's move to the 5th morning routine. I call this practice the movement of creative gratitude. Before diving into the activities of my day, I do something very simple but extremely powerful. I move my body, I stretch, I raise my arms, I make a few gentle movements. Sometimes I do a few squats, sometimes I walk around a little, and sometimes I simply stretch while breathing deeply. Nothing complicated. But this movement activates something very powerful within our bodies, our natural electromagnetic field. Many people who follow my work have started noticing something very interesting. Some of my students told me that before even practicing Ho'oponopono, they started doing small movements in their room. They jump a little, breathe deeply, stretch, and move their bodies. And then they do the practice, and the reports are impressive. They say the practice feels even stronger. So while I'm stretching or breathing deeply, I also begin expressing gratitude. I say things like, gratitude for my body, gratitude for my life, gratitude for all the opportunities that exist for me, gratitude for this new day, gratitude for all the good things that are coming to me. This combination of movement, breathing, and gratitude raises your vibration almost instantly. And when your vibration changes, you begin to function like a true magnet for positive events. Now I want to share a 6th practice with you, a special bonus. It's a very simple but extremely powerful mantra that I like to use to surrender my day with confidence and lightness. The mantra is, I trust the divine flow of my life. It may sound simple, but when you say this with presence, something very deep happens inside you. Because most people spend their lives trying to control everything all the time. Control the future, control situations, control people, and that creates anxiety, tension, and fear. But when I pause, take a deep breath, and say, I trust the divine flow of my life, I'm reminding myself that there is a greater intelligence guiding everything. Then I do something I love. I open my arms, take a deep breath, and repeat, I trust the divine flow of my life. Everything is aligning for my highest good. And in that moment, I simply release the weight of trying to control everything. Because when you trust, you allow life to begin organizing itself in ways your mind could never plan. Situations begin to resolve. The right people begin to appear. Doors begin to open. And you start to realize that there is a flow of blessings happening all the time. That's why I love ending my morning routine with this declaration, because it reminds me every day that I am not alone on this journey. There is a path being prepared, and I choose to trust. Now I want to share something very special with you. One of the most beautiful things I've experienced on this journey is receiving messages from people who started practicing these techniques and began to see real transformations happening in their lives. And I always say one thing, when we change on the inside, the reality on the outside changes too. I receive many emotional stories, and I want to share a few of them with you now. Recently, a student, whom I'll call Carla, told me a story that deeply touched my heart. She lives in a small countryside town and has always lived in a rural area. Her life had always been very simple and very difficult. And she told me that at first, when she heard about these practices, she was a little skeptical. She thought maybe that wasn't for her, but even so, she decided to try. At that time, she and her husband were going through an extremely difficult phase. Her husband was very sick with a serious health problem, and they had practically lost the source of income that supported their family. So she began practicing Ho'oponopono every day, with faith, with dedication, with all the strength of her heart. And she told me something that still moves me to this day. On the 3rd day of practice, she received a phone call from a friend she hadn't spoken to in a long time. The friend asked if she had finished high school because a job opportunity had come up and she had thought about her. She said that at that moment she started crying with joy, because she felt as if God was telling her, I'm taking care of you. She accepted the job and continued practicing every day. And little by little, life began to change. Her husband started getting better. Doors began to open. Today, they have a much better life than before. And she often writes to me saying that the miracles keep happening. Another beautiful story came from a student I'll call Patricia. When she first found my work, she and her husband were going through a very difficult financial situation. They felt completely lost and didn't know how to get out of it. She began listening to the practice audios and decided to start doing Ho'oponopono every day, even without fully understanding everything at the beginning. She simply chose to trust. Over time, things began to change. Work started improving, opportunities began to appear, and sometime later, they achieved a dream that once seemed impossible. Today, they live near the ocean. She told me that she can hear the sound of the waves every night, and every time she hears that sound, she remembers the journey she went through to get there, and she feels an enormous sense of gratitude. I also received a very beautiful message from a student I'll call Renata. She has been practicing these techniques for several years and told me that one of the most special achievements of her life was opening her own business. She managed to open a small snack shop, and she made a promise to herself that she would always help people who were going through difficult times. Today, in addition to running her business, she also sets aside food to help people in need. And she always says that the more she helps others, the more her own life prospers. That's something truly beautiful to see. But the last story I want to share today was one of the most emotional ones for me. A woman I'll call Anna wrote to me using her daughter's account because at that time, she didn't even have her own phone. She told me she was living in a nearly empty house. She had only one bed for her children and a refrigerator. She washed dishes in a laundry basin and cooked on a single burner electric stove. Even so, she decided to start doing the practices. On the very first day of practice, some people from her church went to her house and brought her a gas stove, a gas cylinder, and a washing machine as a gift. On the second day, those same people returned and brought furniture to her home, a sofa, a cabinet, a wardrobe, and they even helped her pay some overdue bills. When she told me this, I was deeply moved, because it shows something very important. When we begin to change inside ourselves, and when we begin to clear the mind, raise our vibration, and open our hearts, life begins to respond in ways that sometimes feel like miracles. And I want to tell you something very important now. These stories are not special because they happen to those people. They are special because they can happen to you too. If you decide to practice, if you decide to change the way you start your days, if you decide to take care of your mind, your energy, and your connection with life. And now I would really love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of these practices are you going to start tomorrow morning? I read many of your comments, and I truly love hearing about your experiences. And when something beautiful begins to happen in your life, because I believe it will, come back here and share it as well. Your story might inspire other people. It might give hope to someone who really needs it. So write it down here in the comments. I would love to read your message. A big kiss to your heart. And always remember, when you change within, your outer reality begins to change too.